ways. Let us learn today about motion and measurement of distances. This is the 10th chapter of class 6 physics. So before going into motion and measurement of distances, let us learn about story of transport, how the transport has begun from the earliest to the modest. So let us learn about it. First, people used to move by their foot and carry goods to longer distances. Then later, they started use of animals for transportation. After this, they started use of boats for transport through water routes. So because of boats, a new way of transport has started, that is water routes or waterways. Then we have invention of wheels, which is used for making carts and which is driven by animals like cow, etc. Then comes the invention of steam engines, which is used to run the trains, which led to the development of new ways of transport, that is railways. Then after the development of steam engines, we have the development of automobiles such as motor cars, trucks, buses, etc. Nowadays, automobiles is the most used transport vehicles. So after automobiles, there comes aeroplanes. So aeroplanes is used to transport heavy goods from one country to another, or even it is used to take people from one state to other, from one country to other. So aeroplanes are very useful for a human to travel the longer distances in a shorter time. Then comes the spacecrafts. These are used to travel to space and other planets for the research purpose. And even the spacecrafts are used to launch satellites into the space. So these are the different modes of transports which are used from earlier to present. Now, after completing about the story of transport, let us move into a new topic of measurement of distances. Before going into the topic, let us know why should we measure and what is the use of measurement. Measuring the things is a very important in our life. For example, if you go to buy a cloth, you cannot tell the shopkeeper that give me a cloth. You need to tell him how much cloth you need. So for that you need to know how much is the length of the cloth which you require, or how much is the width of the cloth which you require, how much is the area of the cloth which you require. So this length, width and area, these all are the units which are required to be measured. So measurement is very important in our life. In ancient days, people used to measure with the help of their hand, foot, palm, etc. So in ancient days, the very popular unit of measurement was foot. Foot is the distance between, if this is your foot, then the distance from the starting of your toe to the end of this leg is the 1 foot distance. This unit of foot is used to measure the length of the room. Let us suppose this is 1 foot. Just imagination that this is 1 foot and this is the length of the room. So the people used to measure it like 1 foot and they stop it here, and then they begin from here 2 foot and then 3 foot, and the remaining is half, so 3.5 foot. So in this way people used to measure in the ancient times. But if suppose some other person who is little tall has come and measured the same distance, then how will it be? Will the measurement be same or will it be different? So let us see. A new person comes and let us suppose this is the length of his foot and the length of the previous person foot is this. So now you can see there is a difference in the foot of both the people. So if the new person who is a little tall and whose foot length is more, if he measures the same thing, the same length of the room, then it will be 2 and 3. So we saw that the older person, the previous person, has measured the same room length as 3.5 foot, and now the new tall person has measured the length of the room as 3 foot. So between both the people there will be fight that the length of the room is 3 foot to the tallest person and the length of the room is 3.5 foot for the tallest person. So this is a very big confusion and a big fight creates because of this misunderstanding of measurement of length. Hence, in order to stop the misunderstanding and get a clear idea about measurement, a standard is made. Suppose this is 1 foot. Suppose this is the standard of 1 foot. Now anything which is measured from this is taken as 1 foot. So, and anything other than this standard length, if it is used, then it is not considered as 1 foot. So a standard is introduced in order to stop the confusion between the measurements of length for various units. In the ancient times, other than the foot, there are many units of measurement which doesn't have a standard. For example, let us see other units of measurement which is used in the ancient times. So the first one is the span. Span is nothing but it is the distance from your little finger end to the thumb finger end. So this is one span. So now if I say this is the cloth and I need to know the length of this cloth, so I can measure it in span. For example, I keep it here, my little finger, and the next one is my thumb finger end. So this is one span, and the second one is this is 2 span. So I can say that the cloth is of 2 span. So this is about the span. So then other one is hand. So hand is nothing but if you place your hand like this and the distance from this thing, the little finger to the thumb, when all the fingers are tightly packed, that is called one hand. So I can say that if the same cloth is measured in terms of in unit of hand, then this is one hand, two hand, and let me place it 3 hand and 4 hands. So I can say that the unit of this cloth is 4 hands. The length of the cloth is 4 hands. So this is one of another unit which is used in the ancient times to measure the length. Then we have another unit called as cubit. Cubit is nothing but it is the distance from your elbow to longest finger. So that is called as the cubit. So if I measure this cloth, it is less than a cubit. And hence these units, which is span, foot, hand, cubit, these vary from person to person. So hence these cannot be used as a unit for measurement. A measurement unit should have a fixed value which should not change with respect to time. So now we have understood about unit. So we can define unit as it is a fixed quantity which is used for measurement. Now let us go into standard units of measurement. What are the different standard units for measurement? So standard units of measurement. So first is in 1970. So before that we have seen that in the ancient days, because of no proper standard measurement, there used to be confusion between the measurement of length, and hence due to that many fights have been caused between the customer and the seller. So because of this, in 1970 the French created a standard unit of measurement called as the metric system. All around the world, a common standard unit of measurement were accepted and used, and it is known as the International System of Units. It is also called as SI units. S stands for system and I stand for international. So system international units. The SI unit of length is meter. And how much is 1 meter? 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So if you take a scale, let us suppose this is the scale, and in this scale we have from 0 to 15 centimeters, and 1 centimeter is this distance, and it is equally divided. Now you can see a smaller lines between 1 centimeter, which is very small, and these smaller lines are called as millimeter. So in 1 centimeter is divided into 10 millimeters. Therefore 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. So 1 meter is 100 centimeter, which means if you take a scale and if you mark the point from 0 to 10 centimeter, and if you do the same thing 10 times, then you are going to get 1 meter length. Which means if you divide 1 meter into 100 equal parts, then each part will be 1 centimeter. And if you divide 1 centimeter into 10 equal parts, then each part will be equal to 1 millimeter. These are smaller units of measurement. But what if we are required to measure larger distances, like the distance from your home to a shop, or a distance from one state to other state? So these are the larger distances which are measured, which we cannot measure in terms of centimeter, or in terms of millimeter, or in terms of meter. So for that case, we need to have a larger unit of measurement, which is known as kilometer. So for larger distances, we have kilometer as a unit of measurement. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter, which means if you multiply 1 meter with 1000 times, then you are going to get 1 kilometer as the distance. So kilometer is used as the unit for measuring larger distances. Even after kilometer, we have more larger distances to be measured. We have larger units of measurement which is more than a kilometer, which is used to measure the distances from Earth to different planets, from Earth to stars, from Earth to Sun. So these are different units which are used for measurement, and we cannot measure the distance from our planet to other planet in terms of meter, centimeter, or kilometers. So we need different units for different distances of measurement. Let us suppose I have a scale and I have drawn a line of unknown length. So let us measure what is the length of this line. So we can measure it like the end of this line, one end of the line is placed parallel to the marking which is 0, and the other end is seen where it is being shown. So now we can see that the other end of the line is showing the length of 10 centimeter plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 centimeter and 5 mm. So we can write it as 10.5 centimeter. So the length of this line is 10.5 centimeters. So now let us say it is told that to measure the length of this book. So we can measure it like, keep the 0 initially, and then now we see that the scale is shorter than the book. So what we do is first measure the 15 centimeters. Let us mark the 15 centimeter, this, and then place the scale away and measure the remaining part by keeping it straight and parallel to the side or edge of the book. So when we keep it and measure, you can see 5, 6, 5.5 plus 1 mm, 5.5 plus 1 mm. So this is 15 plus 5.5 plus 1 mm. So that is nothing but 15 centimeters plus 5.5 centimeters plus 1 mm. So we can write this as 15 plus 5.5 centimeter is 20.5 centimeter plus 1 mm. So we can total write it as 20.6 mm. So the length of this book is 20.6 mm. Now suppose instead of a straight line, a curved line is given to measure its distance. So what are we going to do in this case? So in this case, we are going to take a thread or a wire and trace it over this thing and then measure the length. So let us see how to do that. So I have a wire with me and let me trace the wire upon this line. So now you can see I have traced the wire all around that line, and now this line is going to end here. So this is the point where it is going to end. So let me mark the point here with the help of a pen. So if I mark it, so this is the point. So now what is the length of this wire, this curved line? So that is equal to the length of this line which is traced over it. So we can measure now what is the length of this. Now I have placed the wire straight to the scale and I have seen that the point which we has to measure is here, which is more than the length of the scale. So first let us mark 15 at this position, and now let us measure the remaining distance. So which will be equal to from here to here. So this is, let me show you, this is the point which is to be measured. So this is equal to 1, 2, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. So 2.8. So 15 plus 2.8. So 15 centimeter plus 2.8 centimeter. So this is equal to 17.8 centimeter. So the total length of this curved line is 17.8 centimeter. So this is how the length is measured for curved surfaces or curved lines. Let us learn now about motion. So what is motion? So motion is nothing but if you have any object and whose position keep on changing with change in time. For example, let us take this is the eraser, and first the position of the eraser was here. Now I am slowly moving this. After 1 second, the position of the eraser is here, and then again I am still moving it, and the next second and the next second and the next second, the next second. So the position of the eraser is keep on changing with change in the time. So this is called motion, which means if any object is keep on moving with change in time, then we can say that that object is in motion. So now let us learn about different types of motion. So these are the types of motion. So first, linear motion, also called as rectilinear motion. Then we have circular motion, periodic motion, and rectilinear motion. Let us learn one by one about each type of motion. So let us begin with linear motion. So what is linear motion or rectilinear motion? Let me draw a straight line. So this is a straight line. Now if any object is moving in a straight line, or any object is in motion and it is in a straight line, then that type of motion is called as rectilinear motion or linear motion. So we can say linear motion or rectilinear motion as object moving in a straight line. Then comes the circular motion. So what is circular motion? For this, let us suppose we have a string or a wire or a thread which is fixed to one stone at one end, and the other end is held by you, or you are catching the other end of the thread. And in this case, if you start rotating, or if you start moving the stone by holding the one end of the thread, then this stone keeps rotating in this direction and then comes back to its position and again keeps rotating. So this motion, where the distance from you and the stone remains same, this is the radius. So that if the distance from you and the stone remains same and still it's keep moving, then that type of motion is called as circular motion. So now let us go into the next motion, which is periodic motion. So let us see what is periodic motion. So this is a string and this is the eraser which is hinged at one point. So when I move it and release the eraser, it oscillates, it go back to its position and again come back and again goes away and again come back. So it is repeating its motion after some interval of time. So any object which repeats its motion after an interval of time, then it is called as periodic motion. So we can write periodic motion as an object which repeats its motion after a fixed interval of time. So hence this kind of motion is known as periodic motion. So let us learn about rolling motion. So now you can see I have a tape in my hand, and now if I push the tape, or if I push the tape, you can see that the tape is rotating as well as moving forward. So the tape is doing two actions here. One is it is rotating, and the second is it is having rectilinear motion. So the tape is having a rotational motion as well as rectilinear motion. So the combination of these two motions simultaneously is called as rolling motion. I hope you have understood about motion and measurement of distances with examples. Thanks for learning. If you like the video, like, subscribe and share, and subscribe to our channel GAN Galaxies for more videos.